Hello, my name's Ellie Owen and I work for the National Trust for Scotland, where I'm Senior Seabird Officer, or my unofficial job title is Frustrated Puffin Scientist. I'm frustrated because puffins are vulnerable to global extinction, and that is the same conservation status as giant pandas. And yet, surprisingly, for a creature that we have so much national affection for, we actually lack the proper tools to help us monitor their populations. The two critical tools we're really missing is that we don't have a good way to count puffins, and we also don't have a good way to monitor their breeding success. So that's how well they manage to raise their chicks each year. The truth is that counting puffins is hard. It's hard because they live in remote places, and they live underground in burrows, and they live in places that are often really hard to access. You might think, why does it really matter that we don't have these tools or a kind of barometer for the health of our puffin populations? Well, I would ask you to imagine that you were responsible for making sure that puffins don't become extinct in Scotland. And how would you even start if you didn't have the basic information about how many there were and where they were breeding? Or perhaps you were wanting to develop a sustainable offshore wind farm in Scotland, but you couldn't do so because at every stage of your application you were delayed by uncertainties in the seabird monitoring data. Well, perhaps you're now just as frustrated as me, but I'm really happy to say that being part of the CivTech 10 challenge has really made a difference for seabirds and given puffins a moment in the spotlight. And so for the first time in nearly 3 decades, 2 companies are now innovating better ways to monitor puffin populations. One company is tackling the problem of how to count puffins, and they're doing this through an approach from above the ground. And so here's Amy from EOLAS to introduce her challenge.
My name is Amy Tyndall, and I'm a GIS and EO data analyst for EOLAS Insight Limited. For the past 5 years, EOLAS has been building a name for itself by offering bespoke geospatial solutions for organisations that rely on location data and maps. Our project partners at the University of Edinburgh School of Geoscience regularly carry out groundbreaking research into all things related to the natural world, and they're supported by the Airborne Research and Innovation Facility, who specialise in aerial data collection. So by combining our commercial experience with their world-class academic expertise, we've created a cohesive team perfectly suited for this challenge. So I'd like you to meet Steve. Steve is a seabird ecologist who spends his summers trekking across remote parts of Scotland, surveying some of the more readily accessible colonies. Currently, only 11% of colonies are fully countable, and many of them are completely inaccessible to humans. Navigating cliffs and unpredictable weather, he checks burrows for eggs, writing the results down in a weather-beaten notebook. With 300 burrows in this colony alone, it's a long and arduous process. Back on the mainland, Steve has to wait for his colleagues to finish their surveys. It takes months to gather in all of the data, delaying analysis. And by the time troubling population trends appear, it's too late to do anything, and another breeding season has passed. So Steve's issue boils down to one problem statement, and that is that there's too many puffins and not enough time. Or because we all love a good acronym, we now refer to this as the TopNet problem. So to solve the TopNet problem, we've developed a virtual fieldwork platform that will support and empower ecologists with their conservation goals. Our seabird monitoring service offers readily accessible, user-friendly web mapping tools and survey solutions to offer effective, accurate, and scalable monitoring of seabird populations. So let's check back with Steve again. Steve now commissions our team to survey even the most remote colonies using drones and light aircraft, substantially increasing the number of colonies he can usually access in one season. 1 week later, he receives a notification that the data is live on the seabird monitoring system. Steve logs in at home over coffee and is first greeted with a series of colonies that have data available. But today, he's looking at the Isle of May located in the Firth of Forth. Firstly, he explores the high-resolution 2D imagery of the surveyed area, so we can look at the burrow locations, landscape topography, and local ecology. He then moves on to the 3D digital twin of the colony, where he can quickly tag burrows as apparently occupied, unoccupied, or perhaps occupied by another species based on his years of experience. Steve is also excited for the AI tools currently in development that will aid him in detecting those coveted apparently occupied burrows, saving him even more time in the process. He then goes on to access data from other neighbouring colonies that are managed by partner organisations to give him a broader picture than ever before. 1 month later, Steve presents the most comprehensive and timely population report he's ever produced, and it's great news. The puffins are doing well, and for once, he didn't have to scale a cliff to find that out. So the story's not just about puffins, but it's about the wider marine ecosystem. The new Scottish Government biodiversity strategy states that we should be nature positive by 2030. And the only way to achieve this is through better planning and better collaboration enabled by technology such as ours. Our platform can be used by multiple industries and organisations to support not just the environment, but also to inform policy and influence economic plans. In fact, issues seen in the news recently perhaps could have been better foreseen had they had better access to high-quality geospatial data and maps. So Aeolus as a company supports not just the Scottish environment, but the Scottish people as well. We are currently based up here with our team split between Edinburgh and Glasgow, and we support a number of Scottish organisations with our projects. As well as building on our reputation in environmental consultancy, we've also got a clear roadmap to establishing ourselves as a key player in the global geospatial sector, with automation and simplification of workflows being the way forward. The CivTech process has enabled us to generate many of the foundational technologies needed to achieve this, and represents a great opportunity for international growth. So our vision is to become the go-to seabed monitoring service for Scotland, to be a trusted partner for ecologists, public organisations and regulated industries alike. We believe that nature deserves the best possible data, delivered quickly, accessibly and at scale. So put yourself in Steve's shoes. Does your organisation rely on accurate, timely data to make informed decisions? Can you see how geospatial data like this could fit into your workflow? If so, please get in touch and talk to us. Because we're not just building a tool here, we're building the future of conservation in Scotland, and we invite you to be a part of it.